Hi folks, I'm going to be doing my top 10 of Rare Revell scale model kits. We're going to go back to when it all started. We're going to talk very briefly about the different factories and locations where Revell had model kits made. And I'm going to do a rundown of what I believe are the most sought after and rarest of these kits. Now, Revell have been around for over 80 years. They were founded back in 1943, according to Wikipedia. And over the years, they've basically been bought and rebought. They've merged with companies like Monogram. And if we're going by ScaleMates, which a lot of the research has been done on this video, using ScaleMates, obviously, they have released over 1,430 tools. So they've, model kit wise. But when it comes to reboxing, and this includes reboxing other manufacturers' tooling as well, like Matchbox or ICM, they have over 11,340 plus scale model kits out there. But I decided to go through what I believe are some of the rarest kits that Revell have in their catalogue. So you can go back over the years, right the way back, and looking for pricing and how many times the tooling was used. I'm basing my research on. And obviously, please, if you know of any rare kits from Revell, put them in the comments box below and let me know which scale model kits are sought after or you are looking for, and just explain to me why. It's always good to hear from the people who watch these videos. Anyways, let's start and let's go to what I think is number 10 in this list of rarest Revell model kits. The Allison turboprop engine. This is a 1 to 10 scale kit that was released originally back in 1960. 21 years later, it was released again in 1981, and it was put under the History Makers branding of Revell, so it was like a series. Then another 10 years later, it was reboxed again in 1991, and it wasn't seen again in another 30 years when Atlantis got hold of the tooling and they boxed it and sold it in 2019. Now you can buy this Atlantis version now, and they're around about the 48 to 60 pound mark, depending if you're in the United Kingdom or the United States. So that's a rounded figure of this release that's around now. But if you want an original release from the 1960s onwards, they are available on eBay and they're looking around about $300, which is in English money £235. So original boxing seem to have held their value. Obviously, when it comes to these pricing, it's what the heart wants, and when it comes to the all-seeing eye, the eye of the beholder, and what you're willing to pay for these kind of kits. So yeah, number 10 on the list, and if you have one in your stash, it may be worth pulling out and seeing what they're worth for you. Right, number 9 on our list, we have the Revell Convair F-102A Delta Dagger. Now this is quite an impressive kit. It was released back in 1958, and then they released it again a year later, and they added 14 airstrip accessories. So you've got tractors there, tugs, you've got weapons, you've got trolleys, trailers, all in this kit. Now this kit's also a little bit special in the sense of it was one of the first kits that they had where you could actually unassemble it so you could see inside. You could class this as a snap fit kit. It was then released again, manufactured at Revell Great Britain in 1960. Then it ended up at Revell Kikala, which is Revell's factory in Brazil. And then in the late 1960s, and then in the last time it was released was 1970, it was released by Revell Japan, and it was never seen again. And there seems to be a little pattern flowing when you go through this video, which I'll explain more at the end. And that when they end up at Revell Japan, some of these kits never see the light of day again. There is nothing I've seen of pricing. They're not available on eBay. Even looking at sold listings, there's nothing there. Even on Google, giving a good search, I can't see nothing. So I can't gauge pricing. But if I could think outside the box a little bit, as somebody who, if you have one of these kits and were thinking of selling it, I would put it about £200, $250. You've got nothing to lose. And especially if you have the one with all the accessories, I would aim for 350. There will be somebody out there who would want that particular kit, and there's none out there. And we know the tooling's gone because Revell have released this kit again, but reboxed another manufacturer. According to Scalemates, they have reboxed the monogram version, which is a 1990s tooling. But it's saying here that there is an unknown one that is a future release, and they're not sure whether that is a monogram tooling or not. If it is the original 1970s tooling, I think that would be a blinder for Revell, that they do have this tool. But I really think deep down it's going to be the monogram kit. Right then, now for a kit that was only ever released once by Revell. Number 8 on this list, we are going for the Radio, Jeep and Communications trailer in 1/40th scale. Quite a weird scale. One release, 1956, and according to Scalemates, never seen again. This is quite an expensive kit on eBay. Looking at the pricing, none sold, by the way, in the last 6 months. They could have sold, but I've not seen one. But on the for sale listings, there are 4 at the moment, and they are going for £146.92 down to £137.33, with your delivery costs between £20 and £30, but one here is at £88.60. They are out there. There's 4 on eBay, quite rich in price. If you've got one in your stash, check them out. Right, number 7 on the list of Rare Revell kits, and this time we're going to go for a boat. We are looking at the Chris Craft Flying Bridge Cruiser in 1/56 scale. First released back in 1953, it was then released again in 1955. It was then shipped to Revell Lodelier in 1957 for a release, shipped back to Revell in 1960, and then released one final time by Revell Lodelier in 1978. And that was the last time we saw it, 47 years ago. Never seen since. Now, pricing, again, looking on Google, I've actually found 2. One that's sold, and one, if you're in the United States and you want this kit, there's one I found. I can't buy it because I'm in the UK. There's one on Etsy for sale too. This one is £23.11 on Etsy, and I tried to buy it and I couldn't, because it'll only ship to the United States. And looking at the pictures, it seems that it's a complete kit. So if you want to grab yourself a bargain and you live in the United States and you do buy it, let me know in the comments that I've saved you a fortune. Because on eBay, there has been one that's sold for around $90. There's a website called Pick Click, I think it's called, and you can see that there was one sold and it was $89.99. And here you can see at the bottom here that they're saying that the best price sold so far, average was $72. The lowest price was $15.92 and the highest was $180. So yeah, it was interesting seeing that on Picklink. I've not found the other kits on Picklink, but this particular one was on this website. I also believe that the one that was at $15 was just a box, because you can buy the boxes you know, empty for about £9, $12. So yeah, those are the sort of prices for this this particular kit. So a rare one indeed. Getting through them quick now. Going to number 6. And this is also a one-off release that we never saw again. It is the US Navy Bendix Talos anti-aircraft missile in 1/40th scale. Only released once in 1957 and hidden in time, space. No one's seen it again. Now, price-wise, on eBay, there's 2 for sale. There's one at £125.52 with £5 delivery, and one other at £100 with free delivery. And that's it. I've not found any other pricing. The boxes look pretty shagged in this one, and the other one looks a bit better, and you can see the parts in it. Have you got this in your stash? Again, leave a comment in the box below. Let me know if you've got one. Sorry for the interruption, but whilst I was editing the video, I just thought I would ask a bit of a favour. If you're enjoying this video and are not a subscriber, will you please consider becoming a subscriber? It's free and it's really easy to do. All you have to do is click subscribe, ring that bell, and if you click all, you will be notified when I release a new video. And I've been doing quite a few videos about history and rarity of scale model kits from scale model manufacturers. If you're enjoying this video, also give it a like and give it a share. And again, these things do help the channel grow. Thanks again. Let's get back to these Rare Revell scale model kits. Moving on to number 5 of our list of Rare Revell kits, and space this time, and we're looking at a rocket. It is the USAF Lockheed X-17 Re-Entry Research Vehicle in 1/40th scale. Another kit with one release only. Now this was a 3 stages, snaps apart, 3 figures, movable scope scale model kit. It was released in 1957, the same time as the last kit we were talking about. Again, never seen again. Just one release for this one. Well, I got a bit excited when I first looked on eBay because I found one for £40 and 55 pence with a £46.64 delivery charge. But when I looked into it and translated the French, it said empty box. It was a bloody empty box. Piss take. But I was like, wow, 40 quid. But I did find 2 on eBay. One is $240 and one at $97.77. But they won't ship to the United Kingdom. And to be fair, one of them looks like a really good box, and you can see all the pieces in the box too. But yeah, I do wonder if Revell could ever find this tooling and release it again, because it seems to be a rare kit indeed. Okay, now number 4 of my list of Rare Revell kits, we're going to be looking at a 1/72nd scale military plane that we've not seen in over 50 years. And it's the Mitsubishi Type 97-2 heavy bomber, the KI-21, was that Mark II? Revell Japan, H169 in 1/72nd scale. Back in the day, Revell had factories all over the world. They had, and you can tell where they were made to by their names. So you had Revell Takora, I think that's how you say it, Takora, which was Japan. You had Revell Lodela, which was Mexico. You had Revell Kikola, which was Brazil. And you also had Revell Marasan, which was also Japan. And then you also have Revell Japan. But you can, you can see where they are. They have Revell Great Britain, obviously it was Great Britain, and Revell, which was United States. So you could tell where these, they were shipping the tooling all over, and they still do it now. Revell tooling is made in China, but the factories where they manufacture the kits are in Poland. I think they've got some in Germany, if I'm right. I'm not too sure. And they also buy in kits as well from other manufacturers. But anyway, looking back at this, so going back 1975, they released it. It was Revell Japan, 1975, 1976. And then Revell Takara took it on in 1980. And we never saw it again. And I think there may be a reason why, but I don't want to go too much into it because I want to explain a little bit more with the next rare kit I'm going to go to. But let's just see how much this kit could be worth if we go looking on eBay. Now, another name for this kit is the Sally, the KI-21 Sally 1/72 scale. And I have been told that it's one of the most refined kits in 1/72 scale that Revell produced in that era. And it's very much sought after from some Revell collectors. Now, prices start from $49, $67, $75 each. And there's one which is in original boxing at $167. So, yeah, there is quite a gap between them, but yeah, definitely, you know, the original boxing $170, and then ones that were like later on $49. Now somebody says that the plastic was very different, and if it was manufactured with white plastic, they had a lot more flash in it back in the day. But yeah, very sought after. Basically, I've named that as my number 4 of my list of rare kits. So then, number 3 on my list of rare Revell kits. Now, they don't go for a lot of money on eBay and on websites, but the reason I've picked this particular kit is because it's renowned by the story of why we can't seem to get them anymore. And I think that there may be a reason why there's other kits around this era that we don't see anymore because of what happened to the 1/32 scale Japanese planes from Revell Japan. So it's the 1/32 scale Kawasaki KI-61 Hien, in brackets Tony. And looking at the history, they were created tooled in 1970, and then they were shipped off to Revell, I believe, in the USA, and were boxed in 1972 between those times. And then they went back to Revell Japan in 1976. And that's the last time we saw of that tooling. It gone back, been released, and we never seen it again. But there's a lot of these planes that after 1976, you don't see them. For instance, you have the Raiden Mitsubishi J2M3 in 1/32 scale, tooled in 1970, and the last time you seen it was in 1983. Remember that number, 1983. Another one you don't see anymore is the Mitsubishi Interceptor J2M3 Jack in 1/32 scale, tooled in 1970 by Revell Japan, and last seen in 1983 by Revell Takara. You see a pattern forming here? And even going back to the 1/72 scale kits like the Sally, the KI-49 Helen, the Ginger, the Tora, they all disappeared around this 1980s mark and they were never seen again. And there's this theory that's going around that a lot of tooling was lost because the ship left Japan to ship over to either Mexico or Brazil with tooling, and the ship sank. And just doing one final piece of research, just looking online, somebody wrote on a forum and said this. I've just cleared up the matter. Just to make it clear, the modes were going to Revell Lodela in Mexico from Japan, not to Japan. They were not Revell US modes, but Revell Takara. And these toolings around this 1980s period are all disappeared. And they've made them quite rare. Pricing, you can pick them up between £35 and £50 on eBay, and in dollars up to $60. But there's this legacy of the tooling that's ended up at the bottom of the sea. And so because of that, people do hunt for them and say, oh, you won't see that again because that tooling's gone. And so I've made that my number 3 of rarest kits from Revell, because I believe that they were lost and at the bottom of an ocean somewhere. Right, we're nearly there now. Number 2 on my list of Rare Revell kits, and I'm going for something a little bit different, obviously. We're going for a Westinghouse atomic power plant. It was released back in 1959, and then again 2 years later in 1961. The scale of it, 1:192, and it was released at a time when atomic power was becoming very big. There was fears about it, and I think this was a way of the power companies to come together to say atomic power is safe, I should say. It was an incredibly detailed educational kit, and it depicted a standard Westinghouse nuclear power plant, created again, as I said, in 1959 by Revell, and it included a book called A New World of Atomic Power by Dr. William E. Shoup, and contained hundreds of parts to replicate the full interior of a Westinghouse nuclear power plant. Now, the original price of this kit, by looking at a post on Facebook, was $2.98. And now you can find them online, and they have sold for, and I've seen them sold as well, for around £1,200. On eBay, unsold listing, $725 with 27 bids. $610, 19 bids, and then $549 with 12 bids. And there are a couple on eBay at the moment, starting price at $719, which is, £680, and that one is incomplete. And there's also one for $575, but you can't tell if they're complete or not. I found another one on a website called Cheap Discount. I don't know what to say about it really, except for that they have reduced the price to $325. So if you're in America and you fancy grabbing hold of this kit, you're going to get a cheap one there, if all the parts are there. And this is the thing with the second-hand kits, you're not too sure, and a lot of them don't guarantee that all the parts are there. But wow, so some really rich pricing here, and they're not as rare as some kits are, but when they are put up for sale, they do hold their value. Or should I say, the value to somebody who thinks they're worth it. Right, top of the list, number 1 in the rarest kits from Revell. And it's not just a single kit, it's in fact 4, and it is a world-renowned, famous band. And they released each individual musician from this band as a single model. And of course, I am talking about the Beatles. Help, I need somebody help. Yes, Revell released the Beatles back in the day as single figure kits. 1964 was the year, and you had Paul, Ringo, John and George created as a figurine. Now, these were only ever released once, and looking for them for sale on eBay, $250 each. Each of them come with their own musical instruments as well. So one's guitars, and Ringo's got his drums. And if you're looking, Ringo's $300. You've got John, $250. Yeah, so there's a lot there. One there, Paul McCartney, $475 for these kits. Wow. And someone does have the whole set painted for $1,400. So that's about, £1,300? Lots of money there in these kits. And I don't think, even if Revell had the tooling, they would be able to release them again. I think they were just one-offs. I think that they produced them and that was it. But if you had all 4 in your stash, you have, I think, one of the rarest sets of models that Revell have ever released. Yeah. And, you know, painted 1400, you know, you tell me. But I feel that or those 4 kits make up the rarest of Revell kits. And if you think I'm wrong, put them in the comments box below. Well, there you go. That was my top 10 of rarest Revell kits, dated back all the way from the 50s, from when they started. And you can tell that there is some real value to people who collect scale model kits, especially ones from Revell. You don't have to agree with me, but if you do, or you feel that there are other kits that were missing from here, please put them in the comments box below, and I am happy to do another video like I did with the Airfix rare kits. I'm happy to do another one for the missing kits that are rare and expensive from Revell. Okay, are we happy with that? I know there's a motorized boat there, but I couldn't find that. I think the USS Missouri goes for megabucks now because it was a powered boat, but I couldn't find that, so I couldn't really add it to this selection of rare kits. But all the time I've always said that please put in the comments your thoughts. You know, did I have them ranked in the right order? Please just put them down there, and I will respond in kind. This has been 8 hours of editing this video and filming it. It's been a real grind, this one. So I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed producing it. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you are not a subscriber yet, but feel that you would like to become one, please click subscribe, and if you ring that bell, click all, you'll be notified when I release a new video, especially like this, because I'm doing quite a few of these videos in a series. I want to just give a huge shout out to my channel members who help me financially with this channel. If you'd like to become a channel member, please click join below and select which membership tier you so wish. We do have a Tuesday night live stream on the workbench where we talk about scale models, and I have been giving away a few kits to channel members for being active and supporting of me with this channel. Don't forget, my book is also available if you'd like to buy that from Amazon, link in the description box below. In one of the 4 corners is a video or a playlist of other content on my channel, including rare kits and history of kits. And thanks again for watching, and I will see you hopefully soon in the next video. Take care. See you soon.